It was 11:35 p.m. in a narrow alley of Mumbai when rain began to pour with fury, pelting the ground like 1,000 tiny bullets. Streetlights flickered, struggling to cut through the storm. In the dim glow stood Inspector Prabhakar Naik, his cigarette burning low, eyes sharp as if waiting for someone. Moments later, a young man in a wet hoodie ran into the alley, panting, eyes darting left and right. Behind him echoed the sound of boots, 3 officers in plain clothes chasing him with drawn guns. "Stop him," shouted one. The young man stumbled but kept running, clutching a small brown envelope close to his chest. Just as he turned the corner, a gunshot split the night. Bang! He fell, his hand stretching out as the envelope slipped from his grasp and slid across the wet pavement, stopping near Naik's polished boots. Inspector Naik bent down slowly, picked it up, and glanced at the lifeless body. "Poor kid," he muttered coldly. "You should have known better than to cross me." He signaled his men. "Clean this up. No headlines tomorrow." As the officers lifted the body, thunder rolled above, loud, angry, like the heavens themselves had heard the crime. Rain still lashed the streets. A black jeep stopped near the seawall. From it stepped a tall man in military fatigues, Major Arjun Rao, his face hard, his eyes burning with purpose. He was the dead man's elder brother. He dialed a number. "Vikram's gone," he said quietly, "and I know who's behind it." On the other end, a woman's voice trembled. "No, you mean Inspector Naik?" "Yes, he's the one." Her name was Meera, an investigative journalist and Vikram's friend. She had been helping him uncover a police corruption ring tied to drug smuggling. Arjun's jaw tightened. "Meet me at the old warehouse in Dharavi at dawn. We'll end this." Sunlight struggled through the clouds. Inside the vast, rusted warehouse, files and photos were spread across a wooden table. Each piece of evidence pointed to one man, Inspector Prabhakar Naik. Arjun stood silently, looking at a photo of his brother, smiling, holding his army medal. Meera spoke softly. "Vikram found proof that Naik was running fake encounter operations, eliminating anyone who got close to exposing him." Arjun's eyes narrowed. "Then tonight he'll face his last encounter." Naik entered his office, wiping his face with a towel. When his phone buzzed, "Unknown number." A voice on the line said calmly, "You killed my brother." Naik froze. "Who is this?" "Major Arjun Rao. Remember that name. You'll be repeating it before you die." Before Naik could respond, the line went dead. He clenched his jaw, loaded his revolver, and barked orders to his men. "Seal every exit around the station. He won't make it out alive." The storm returned with a vengeance. Power flickered. Inside the police station, silence hung heavy until the front doors burst open. Arjun stepped in, soaked to the bone, eyes cold as steel. He moved like a shadow, his military precision unmatched. Gunfire erupted. 2 corrupt officers went down. Arjun rolled behind a desk, returning fire. Naik shouted from the corridor, "You think you're a hero, Major? This city runs on my word." Arjun reloaded calmly. "Not anymore." He fired a single perfect shot. The bullet shattered the glass, grazing Naik's arm. Naik stumbled back, clutching his bleeding shoulder, fury in his eyes. "You've made your last mistake." They clashed, fists, rage, and vengeance colliding in the dim light. Thunder boomed as Arjun slammed Naik against the wall. The envelope, Vikram's last evidence, fell from Naik's pocket. Naik laughed weakly. "You think this will change anything? The system is rotten, Major. It will protect me." Arjun stared into his eyes. "Then I'll burn the system myself." He grabbed the envelope, turned on his body cam, and spoke into it. "This is Major Arjun Rao, Indian Army. Evidence attached. Corruption, murder, and drug operations, led by Inspector Prabhakar Naik. Justice will no longer wait." He tossed the body cam to Meera, who had just entered, her phone streaming live to the news feed. Naik's smirk faded. Within minutes, police sirens wailed outside. Real officers, not his men. Arjun stepped back as they burst in. Naik dropped to his knees, handcuffed. The media flashed cameras through the rain. A week later, at Vikram's funeral, Arjun stood silently by the sea. The waves crashed against the rocks. Wild, endless, cleansing. Meera placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did it. The truth's out." Arjun nodded slowly. Justice wasn't revenge. It was his right. As they walked away, the camera of a nearby journalist zoomed in on a photo placed beside the flowers. Vikram's smiling face and the medal that now gleamed gleamed with the reflection of dawn. 3 months had passed since Inspector Prabhakar Naik's arrest. The headlines had screamed for days. Hero Major exposes corrupt police nexus. Justice for Vikram Rao. The fall of Mumbai's dirty cop. But as the noise faded, something darker began to stir beneath the surface. Major Arjun Rao had returned to his army base in Pune, though peace refused to follow him. Every night he dreamt of the alley, of Vikram's body lying in the rain, eyes open, lips trembling as if trying to speak his last words. One evening, as Arjun sat alone in the barracks, his phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Arjun frowned, reading the text twice. He instantly remembered something Mira had once mentioned, a name buried deep within the files they'd found. D for Duda, a retired police commissioner and Naik's mentor, rumored to control a vast underground network of officers, politicians, and businessmen. Arjun's instincts kicked in. He called Mira. "Mira, check your sources. Someone's watching us." There was a brief silence on the line. "I know," she whispered. "I've been followed for days. Same white SUV, tinted windows. They're not police." Arjun stood, his jaw tightening. "Meet me in Mumbai. We're not done yet." Mumbai, 2:10 a.m. Rain again. It was always raining when death followed. Arjun and Mira met at a small tea stall near the docks. The air reeked of salt and diesel. Mira pulled out a small pen drive. "This was sent anonymously to my office yesterday," she said, sliding it across the table. "It contains recordings, conversations between Dutta and senior politicians. They're planning to erase every trace of Naik's case." Arjun's hand clenched around the drive. "Then they'll come for us next." Suddenly, a black SUV screeched around the corner. Headlights flared. Gunfire erupted. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Arjun shoved Mira down, overturning the table. Bullets shattered glass bottles behind them. He fired back. Precise, controlled. 2 men fell. The SUV reversed, tires screeching, vanishing into the night. Mira looked at him, breathless. "You think it's Duda?" He nodded grimly. "He's cleaning house." The two sat over a map of the city. Red circles marked locations. Warehouses, police quarters, a farmhouse on the outskirts. "This," Arjun pointed, "is where Duta runs his operations. The farmhouse near Karjat. I'll go tonight." Mira frowned. "Alone? That's suicide." Arjun looked up. His eyes were calm but resolute. "I lost my brother because I trusted the law. This time, I trust only my aim." The road wound through dense forest. Lightning flashed, revealing an old colonial mansion surrounded by guards. Arjun moved like a shadow through the rain, silenced pistol in hand. Inside, Commissioner Dutta, silver-haired and smug, poured himself whiskey. "Young men and their morals," he scoffed to a subordinate. "Naik was a fool. The major will be next." A distant creak. Then, thud, a guard dropped silently to the floor. The lights flickered. Duda turned and froze. Major Arjun Rao stood at the doorway, gun steady, soaked to the bone, his army tag glinting in the low light. "It's over." Duda smiled faintly. "You think killing me will bring your brother back?" Arjun's finger tightened on the trigger. "No, but it'll make sure no one else dies like him." Bang! The shot echoed through the halls. A week later, Mira sat in her newsroom, the morning sunlight pouring through the windows. A courier handed her an envelope. No name, no return address. Inside was a note, written in neat handwriting. Attached was a pen drive, containing hours of footage, documents, and a confession from Dutta, recorded moments before his death. Mira's hands trembled. She looked out of the window, the city skyline stretching under golden dawn. Her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. She smiled faintly. "Then let's fight it." The camera pans upward, over Mumbai's crowded skyline, the rising sun casting light on a city that finally dares to face its own darkness. It was 8 a.m. Television screens across the country flashed with breaking news. Exclusive: former Commissioner Dutta's confession exposes nationwide corruption network. Mira's face appeared on every channel. Her voice was steady, professional, but her eyes held the weight of everything she'd seen. This footage was sent to us anonymously. What you're about to hear could change the future of Indian law enforcement. The video began to play. Duta's trembling voice filled the newsroom. It wasn't just me or Nike. The orders came from higher up, ministers, judges, even the ones who claimed to fight corruption. We were all part of it, the machine that feeds on power. As the clip ended, silence fell. Across Mumbai, people stopped. In buses, shops, offices, stunned. But even as truth reached the public, something darker began to move in the shadows. Major Arjun Rao sat in the briefing room, his uniform crisp, his face unreadable. The director of military intelligence, General Bhaskar, stood before him. "Major Rao," the general said coldly, "you've acted without authorization, killed a retired officer on foreign soil. That's not justice, that's vigilantism." Arjun remained silent. The general leaned closer. "Do you realize the storm you've created? The Home Ministry is under fire. Politicians are furious. You've made enemies you can't even see." Finally, Arjun spoke. "I didn't join the army to watch men like Dutta destroy everything we stand for. I finished what the system couldn't." The general exhaled, then tossed a file on the table. "Then finish this too." Arjun opened it. Inside were photos, blurred images from surveillance drones. A man in a white suit standing beside a private jet in Dubai. The caption read, "Raghav Menon, business tycoon, political financier, and alleged mastermind behind Duta's network." Bhaskar said quietly, "He's the man behind it all, the one pulling every string. But you didn't hear this from me." Later that night, Mira received a call, an unknown voice, trembling with fear. "Madam, they're coming for you. Leave your office now." She grabbed her bag and ran. As she reached the stairwell, she froze. A faint click echoed behind her. A small red light blinked on the wall. Bomb. She ducked and sprinted. The explosion ripped through the corridor, glass and debris raining down like shards of hell. Outside, a black car waited. Arjun jumped out, pulling her inside. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, coughing. "They're erasing everything. Witnesses, files, even Duta's confession has vanished from the servers." Arjun stared straight ahead. "Then we go for the source." 2 nights later, in a secret cyber cell near Kalaba, Mira's hacker contact, Samar, worked furiously at his laptop. Streams of code filled the screens. "I've traced the money trail," Samar said. "Raghav Menon used shell companies across Hong Kong, Dubai, and Mauritius to fund fake encounters, political hits, and even media manipulation." He turned the monitor toward them. "This isn't just corruption, Major. It's a government within the government." Mira swallowed hard. "How deep does it go?" Samar looked at them grimly. "All the way to Delhi." That night, as Arjun left the safe house to gather supplies, 2 black SUVs blocked his path. Doors opened. Men in tactical gear stepped out, armed and silent. Arjun reached for his weapon, but a familiar voice stopped him. "Easy, Major," said Colonel Rana, his former commanding officer. "You're under arrest by direct order of the ministry." Arjun's jaw tightened. "So Menon got to them too." Rana sighed. "You're not helping yourself. Come quietly." Arjun raised his hands slowly, but the moment Rana blinked, Arjun swung, a precise military maneuver. In seconds, he disarmed 2 men, ducked behind a vehicle, and escaped into the rain-soaked streets. The city swallowed him, hunted, outlawed, betrayed. Hours later, in an abandoned warehouse, Arjun stood staring at the city lights through a cracked window. His phone buzzed. A hidden number again. "Major Rao," the voice said smoothly. "You've made quite the mess. Who is this?" "Let's just say I'm a friend, one who wants Menon gone as much as you do." Arjun's eyes narrowed. "Why should I trust you?" "Because I can give you proof. Not rumors, not files, but a live confession. Meet me tomorrow, midnight, at the gateway the line cut." Arjun stared at the darkened phone screen. Every instinct screamed trap, but he also knew it might be his only chance. Waves crashed against the stone steps as the clock struck 12. The monument loomed, majestic under the moonlight. Arjun scanned the area. Empty. Too empty. Then he saw her, a figure in a dark coat, hood drawn, walking toward him. She stopped a few feet away, lifted her hood, and Arjun froze. Mira, her eyes were filled with sorrow. "I had no choice, Arjun. They have my family." Before he could respond, headlights flared, dozens of them. Armed men surrounded him, and stepping out of the car was Raghav Menon himself, calm, polished, a faint smile on his face. "Major Rao," he said smoothly, "you've been very troublesome, but tonight the war ends." Arjun clenched his fists. "Not yet." Menon's smile widened. "Oh, it ended the moment she called me." He looked at Mira. She couldn't meet Arjun's eyes. Thunder rolled. The air grew heavy. The real battle, the final reckoning, had begun. In a city where power hides behind polished smiles, one man dared to pull back the curtain. Subscribe to British Hauntings for more true crime mysteries, untold stories, and cinematic tales from the darkest corners of reality. Because in the end, truth always returns.